Recording in progress.
Still riding your bike?
Yeah, I was riding today. All right, come here, kids.
Come on,
You're like,
guys.
what did I sign up for? Okay, come on in, kids.
Perfect. Okay, one more, just in case.
Great, thank you. Okay, oh, you're the best. I'll be in touch with you with a potential ad hoc she's just. All right. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you all for. All right, now stuff. Okay. All right, public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Right there? Okay.
Okay, we received one public comment and I'll leave it now. Okay. I would like to address the Rio Dell City Council and staff regarding the Rio Dell River Bar at Edwards Drive. The last couple of times I've been down the river walking my dog with my young son, I witnessed things that are disturbing. Recently, there's been a vehicle parked near the Rio Dell Scotia Bridge. At first, I didn't think too much about it, but after asking around town, I learned that the person in question is possibly a convicted felon. I'm not going to name a name. Just yesterday, I witnessed suspicious activity occurring, which appeared to be a drug deal. Since Rio Dell does not offer many recreational activities for citizens, the river bar should be a place where people can take their kids or dog for a walk and feel safe. I was excited to hear about the Trails Project and think it would be a great asset for the community. However, if people don't feel safe, I'm afraid it won't get used as intended. As a taxpayer and citizen of Rio Dell, I respectfully request that the City Council urge the police department to patrol the river bar daily to deter illegal activity and or destruction of the city's most beautiful resource. And it's respectfully submitted an anonymous concerned ad. That's the only one we received.
Thank you. Now we will move on to the consent calendar. We are pulling item 7 from the consent calendar.
And Mayor Brown, the staff removing.
Oh, we're removing, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We are removing item 7 from the consent calendar. And I guess I can remove full item 1 for the minutes. And does anyone else want to pull anything? It's the attorney to draft and execute a. We're pulling it, I mean, we're removing it, we're not pulling it, meaning that it will come back after a conversation. It means it's actually just being removed from the agenda tonight.
Oh, got it.
Is there a motion to approve items 2 through 6? Did anyone in the public have any comment or want anything pulled? Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries 4-0. Item 1, I just abstained, so I couldn't vote and abstain. So is there a motion to approve item 1?
Move to approve the minutes from the May 7th meeting.
Is there a second? Second. Please vote. And my name shouldn't be lit up because I was saying here, so, okay. Motion passes 3 with 1 abstention. And now we will move on to staff reports. Page 35 in our packet. Amendment.
Thank you, Mayor Barnes and members of the council. The staff is going to be requesting that we schedule a special meeting for this Thursday at 4 p.m. For a contract approval for the Steel River Trail project. Just a formality to keep the project moving according to the original schedule. And then there will also be this Friday a soft ribbon cutting for the kids for the Eel River Trail, starting at 11:45. And so all council members are invited to that, and Councilmember Carter can probably provide more specificity at the member reports section of the agenda. With that, we are engaging in a officer recruitment, or excuse me, police chief recruitment that should close on the 24th, coming up here shortly. And with that, I have no other updates for the council at this time, but staff is here and available to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for staff, council?
Just what is the building that's being built across the river? You have on Northwest Avenue,
Jesse's new
there's a 67, I see it going up.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an improved, an additional indoor cannabis facility there on the site. It's just a single story development. It'll be one of, I think, 3 or 4 additional buildings right around that immediate level of ground building.
It's all the same project. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question for Jim. What's, this and that retail clothing store on Rigby?
673 Rigby, that's part of the Davis and Rigby, you know, the old general store was, it's retail.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay, and I would just like to thank Jeff for stepping up. Really appreciate it. It was unexpected to say the least, and so thank you very much for stepping up and filling in for us for a time. I know there's a deadline, but for a time, thank you very much. Okay. Now we will be moving on to item. Did anyone from the public have any questions for staff? I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so clearly having my absence, I was like, oh. So we will move on to special call items. We have 2 appointments of ad hoc committees. On the first one, I have a recommendation, and on the second one, I would be, asking for volunteers, but my recommendation, the appointment of ad hoc committee to review California Department of General Services acquisition of the former Todd property and to advise and implement next steps, page 39 in our packets.
Thank you, Mayor Dorrance, members of the council. So the Todd property is located on the corner of 4th Avenue and Davis Street there. The large roughly 18 acre parcel that currently they've been baling hay on for the past couple of days at the site. This particular site has long been identified by the city council and the community as a potential future and area of growth and development beyond just a farming related field or ranching field. And so right around the time of the earthquake in the end of 22, the state of California Department of General Services, which handles all of the real estate transactions for the state of California, purchased the Todd property, all 18 acres, for the express purposes of a new regional headquarters for the Del Norte Humboldt unit of so that current location where they're headquartered is in Fortuna, relatively small location, much older design. Clearly, they need a new facility. So the state zeroed in on this particular property. And what, the city has some concerns about it. While overall, any development of the site is welcome, and we look forward to seeing the site develop, which now appears to be a given. There are some potentially missed opportunities by the utilization of the entire 18 acres for one specific purpose. And we've had some designs done that show that the requirements for the facility really can sit on easily half of that 18 acre footage. And so, there are potential opportunities for development of hotels, motels, other business type amenities, restaurants, that sort of thing. For visitor serving facilities, in particular vehicles going up and down the freeway, that we think would be reasonable for the state to incorporate that, particularly because that by CAL FIRE, right, Department of General Services acquiring the property, it's actually taking out 200 potential dwelling units out of our general plan and our regional housing needs allocations. So that's kind of a big impact. Whereas our RENA numbers were almost entirely met. Now we're backsliding by about 200 units of potential development. So there are significant impacts to the city, and I think the goal of the council is ultimately to maximize the benefits of CAL FIRE coming to town. We want to welcome them to town, and then minimize some of these negative consequences. So, there would be a communications tower approximately 120 feet tall placed on the site. There may be active dispatch through speakers on the site immediately adjacent to a residential community. These are some of the factors identified in this particular development that, typically we want to work through to try to avoid issues and complications from any type of development, whether it's, private sector or public sector. So the state has been, particularly Department of General Services and CAL FIRE, basically been not providing information to the city. And so the city's had to utilize Public Records Act requests in order to really garner any information about this project. So we just recently, at the beginning of this week, received some of the latest design plans and whatnot for the project. And again, that was through a PRA. It wasn't any kind of voluntary disclosure. So we have a lot of concerns about the state working with the local community on this project to see if there's even just a slight compromise, which would improve the quality of their project and also allow for some level of economic development and job activity in Rio Dell proper. And so we have engaged and sent a letter to Governor Newsom, and Senator McGuire did host a conference call with all of the respective state agencies where there was a commitment to be a good neighbor. However, at this time, again, the only information we have garnered through this process is through the Public Records Act request system. And we don't believe that that's really good for their project, good for the community, that there needs to be a level of transparency and openness to the discussion about potential shared uses for the project, which again, benefit everybody. So I think staff's concern is that the project could end up just being an island in the city, where there really is no integration. There's kind of one exit, one entry, straight to Davis Street and the freeway. And those are just some of the concerns about the project. But there's no question that CAL FIRE needs a new facility. I think we all want to welcome them to town and capitalize on the potential offshoot development. Potentially, new lunch spots being more economically viable in the community, that sort of thing. It will have a 200 seat conference room and training facility. It'll have 14 or so beds for the firefighters. It'll have a major communications complex and all kinds of different facilities. It will become probably the largest job center or place where people work in the city once it's completed. So at this point in time, because we're not getting a whole lot of cooperation through the bureaucracy of the state of California, that staff is recommending that the council form an ad hoc to really kind of steer the next steps, make sure that we're getting the community engaged and aware of this project, its potential implications, our desire, again, to maximize the benefits and mitigate the negatives. And so that the community is generally aware of this and, the potential missed opportunities for hotel, restaurants, that sort of thing that could be co-located on the site with ease based on the sheer size of the parcel. So that is kind of the opportunity here. So I think the council should feel free to have a conversation about what you see to, first of all, select the ad hoc committee, but then also guide the ad hoc committee with your individual view on it so that the ad hoc committee is informed moving forward.
Thank you, City Manager. And I think that one of the things that the City Manager didn't point out was that it would be good if we could, we're not asking for a lot, we're just looking for a slice of this property, but that it's 75% of our commercial land. Somewhere in there.
That's roughly correct. And the problem, one of the composition and planning problems for this community is that commercially available space is very, very limited. Compared to most other cities, this is primarily a bedroom community. And so losing commercial private enterprise land for development is really consequential over the long term. So the viability of the city becomes more and more at risk with fewer commercial, properties available. Again, commercial can be mixed with housing. So, a lot of the newer developments have commercial on the lower floors and residential on the upper. So those sorts of missed opportunities that seem to run counter to the narrative that the state government politically puts out, of these being priorities. And we think that there's plenty of space to meet all of the needs and do it in a quality way.
Are there any questions? Right? Question? Any questions? Yeah.
Just had a couple of comments. For the ad hoc committee, it might be great to include a supervisor member, because of course, RENA allocations for the city of Rio Dell are going to impact Humboldt County. We have the tax issues, all of that. Plus, the county has paid lobbyists that can be used for issues that the county has agreed to take on or to support or to oppose. So you may be interested in using that, and plus it gets a little more attention on the state side. It's going to be really hard to get any attention on the state side, considering the budget. CAL FIRE as a state agency is incredibly risk averse. They like to dump it on everybody else for risk, but they don't, the state itself won't take on risk. So I would be surprised if they would be interested in any kind of allowance of other businesses on their property that they would own because of liability. But they might be interested possibly in purchasing some of the property and allowing the city of Rio Dell maybe, or the county to purchase, because that takes care of the liability issue that you would have there. It'd be great if we could bring in these other services, that area with the one-on-one on and off that's there, it's ideal for it. And we're excited to have CAL FIRE come in. We need all that, and that's fantastic. But the impact of the community is going to be pretty strong. So we do want to see mutually beneficial things, and McGuire is a perfect advocate for it. But he's got a couple of other pressing things on his agenda at the moment. First year budget, budget kind of sucks a little bit. But definitely try the advocacy. And then I would also try going as public as you possibly can about, they're taking away our housing allocation. The state of California is taking away our housing allocation. Governor Newsom doesn't care about hypocrisy, but other people might. Because he could just stand right there and give it to you there, but he's met the moment in this time, in this space. But in any case, I wish you luck on doing that. We really do need to get something out of it. More than getting great fire protection, which is wonderful, which is great, but the city itself is losing quite a bit in that tax money. We've always eyeballed that site for something else. So hopefully something can come from it.
Thank you, Sharon.
Deborah? I was just gonna say, I agree with everything that Sharon had to say. Really.
One for the two big mouths.
Yeah. I think.
I would recommend, Mayor Pro Tem and myself, the ad hoc committee.
No, do you think that you wouldn't mind maybe trying to get Michelle?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, I think they're a great idea.
Do you need a motion?
So,
Okay, I make a motion that that Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem are on the ad hoc committee.
And also,
a motion in a second. Motion carries 4-0. And, with that, I would also ask the city manager, you reach out to Michelle, I can reach out to her. I don't know what the proper.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and now we will move on to the appointment of 2 council members to serve on an ad hoc committee to work with the city manager on the selection of a new chief of police. Page 40 in our packets.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So we are in a transition period for the leadership of the Rio Dell Police Department. In the past, the city council has appointed an ad hoc committee to work with the city manager on the selection. So that work generally involves attending the interviews, advising the city manager on their impression of candidates and the best path forward. And then ultimately to come back to the council at the point of confirmation to advise the council on your findings. So the recommendation is just simply that, but this is also an opportunity also for individual council members to opine on their view of what would be the ideal chief, or what kind of qualities we would like to see to help advise the 2 individual ad hoc committee members moving forward.
Thank you, city manager. Well, on outline, first of all. I wasn't sure if we wanted to do that kind of,
I think they do it as like small study session, or just.
can we do that?
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean,
I was going to suggest
Point.
first that I don't know if Mr. Orr would be able to attend, and then it sounds like Councilmember Wilson would not be able to attend. But and we want to hold that meeting relatively soon, because we're going to need to start work very soon. So the city clerk will work with this, to find an appropriate time early next week.
Thank you.
Monday preferably, or excuse me, Tuesday, Monday is a holiday.
Okay, thank you, city manager. Councilmember Wilson expressed interest, so, Councilmember Wilson is, Councilmember Woodall, or you again?
You didn't want it.
I am the only one who hasn't sat on the committee. I'm not saying that. If you would rather do it, I would, yeah.
So, the council will, appoint Councilmember Wilson and Councilmember Woodall. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
there was second.
Yeah. I second. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, and council reports. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. I this morning attended the COAD Board of Directors meeting. Crawford is going really hard on FEMA officials right now, about the thresholds that gave us so much problems in earthquake. So, that's really, really good to hear that that is the issue that he is attacking. So there's that. We have a nuisance advisory committee meeting tomorrow here at 3 p.m. We have a beautification, walkability and pride committee this Friday. I think it's at 1:30 or 2. We have to check the calendar. So that will be here. The ribbon cutting at the Rio River Trail this Friday at 11:45 has a lot to do with our trail stewards, and that is members of the 4th and 5th grade class. I'm looking for it. Who have been, there it is, working on non-infrastructure outreach and education components for the Clean California Grant. Yes, at the 4th and 5th grade Eagle Prairie School classroom, they're the trail ambassadors, and they've been learning about natural and cultural history of the trail. So what this event will be is a ribbon cutting to celebrate the beginning of the trail in advance of construction. And the students, the trail ambassadors, they're gonna lead the walking tour. So this is their chance to teach us what we need to know about the environment and the cultural history of that place, and I think it's going to be very exciting. So the walk begins at noon, and there will be mini cupcakes. We're supposed to arrive at 11:45. I think it's gonna be really, really cute and fun. It said the students will arrive at 11, the invitees arrive at 11:45, and the student-led walk is at noon with a ribbon cutting and mini cupcakes. Don't forget the cupcakes. That will be at the foot of Davis Street, and then follow the little footpath. As much turnout as we can get for something like this, I think is very important. Not just from city council, but from everybody. So if you can attend, please stop by. If you're gonna be out of town, say it's a weekend or holiday weekend, tell people, get people to show up. Because I really think it's a big deal that these kids are gonna tell us what they've been learning. Lastly, we have the Humboldt Trails Summit on June 1st, that's a Saturday. That is at the Sequoia Conference Center in Eureka from 9:30 a.m. till 1 p.m. I will be there. McGuire will be there.
We will both be.
So, but no, it is always, it's a nice opportunity for Rio Dell to say, hey, we're here too. We have a trail too. We are live in an area of outstanding natural beauty. So people should come see us. And it's nice to just be at these events and have our faces seen in our voices.
Absolutely.
That's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
I have, we call, we have supposed to do the HWMA last time. And there's RCEA, we have, obviously we have another special meeting prior to actually for RCEA, and then this week, additionally on this Thursday, we're gonna do RCEA monthly meeting. So that's, which is setting the budget for the RCA's. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you.
Well, Amanda covered the. I need to go before Amanda's.
It's all right.
Yes, the nuisance abatement committee meeting and the beautification walkability meetings. And we've got one project that we did send out from the beautification committee. And I wanted to say something. I was sort of about the trees downtown, but they look really nice. I have to say that. I'm happy. Maybe happy, but I'm really happy.
I'm glad you're.
And there's a lot of people that said that it looked really nice, so I appreciate the work you did on the.
Wait till 1 year.
It'll be fun. And that's it.
Thank you, and I've been out of town, so I have nothing to. Back last Thursday, and yay, I missed everybody and happy to be back. I think that's it. Their motion to adjourn. What we.
What about item 7? You don't want to just remove it. Oh, well, you just moved it for a discussion item.
No,
No,
Okay, so we'll make sure.
thank you. Okay, now, is there, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion, second? Second. We adjourned until June 2nd?
Fourth.
Fourth, so June 4th. Thank you.
Yeah. Please take, very well.